Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully I am live. As always, if I am, please leave me a message just so I know that you can see and hear me. It's great to see you guys. Megan from Wisconsin, Jocelyn from Milton Keynes, my hometown, Joanne from Peterborough, UK, Lauren from New Orleans, Sylvana from London, UK. Hi, Natalie from Maryland. Guys, if you can see and hear me, do please let me know. Jonathan from Macclesfield. Karen from Hershey. Yay! You can see and hear me. Okay. I myself right now, by the way. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on another webinar. It is great to see you. I am feeling a little bit tired, I have to admit. I have just wrapped up what was a really epic, I have to say epic, retreat, which has been really awesome for me here in Egypt. We had Danielle Greason out here, and we had 9 to 10 other really amazing, incredible ladies. And I have to say that this tattoo is a new tattoo that me and my current moderator, Megan, got together as joint matching tattoos because we love each other that much. And that's the craziness that went on here. Rashida from Barbados. Okay, just give me 1 second because I kind of have to like move something out of the way. Okay, good. Okay. I'm in my office and it's really, really late at night here. Hi, Rashida from Barbados. Sarah. Oh, hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. Yes, Megan, it was awesome. So guys, it's so good to see you here. We've got another webinar. We're teaching another free class. I'm super excited about it because this class is all about teams. It's all about working together. It's all about collaboration, which is one of my absolute favorite things. And I thought because of the recent interaction that we've had on the retreat, and working together, I just thought it would be really, really good to do. Ah, Helen! Nice to see you here, Helen. I thought it would be really, really good. Just so you know, Helen was on the retreat as well. So I've literally just seen Helen in person in the flesh. I love seeing you guys in the flesh, by the way. Just so you know. Okay, awesome. Viv, hi from Berlin, Viv, Berlin, Germany. Wonderful. About an hour behind me, I think you are. About roughly that. Okay, cool. So here we are. I obviously have a class to teach today. Hi, Caitlin from San Jose. Hi, Jen. I obviously have a class to teach today, and I'm going to crack into that as quickly as possible. But I just wanted to say, for everyone who's here, welcome. I am coming to you right now from 8 o'clock at night in Egypt, where I am. We also have Megan over in the States who's moderating for us. So if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I also want to say that throughout the process of this webinar, obviously I'm going to teach you the, you know, what you're here to learn, basically. But if throughout the process for this webinar you have a question, don't hesitate to leave it in the chat or click on the Ask a Question button on the screen right in front of you there. And I will get to questions, all the questions at the end, I promise. So I'm going to basically teach the content and get to the questions at the end. And it's lovely to see you guys here. So a little bit of housekeeping. Megan is moderating, just again, because I see people still coming into the room. So I just want to say again, Megan is moderating. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat room and I'll be able to get to those. Oh, look, 2 people in New Orleans. That's so sweet. Definitely need to connect. Helen's awesome. Lauren, I'm sure you're probably awesome as well. So I'm going to go into the presentation any moment now. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Yes. So basically, just so you know, if you see Megan post as Megan, under my name because she's logged into my account. That's just how Crowdcast works. It looks like it's under my name, but it is actually Megan. So just so you guys know that. Just so you know, can you guys see and hear me okay? There's no technical issues or anything like that. I can carry on just as I am. Please let me know if any of you guys have got any technical issues with me right now, just before I go into the content. Camille, oh, Camille, hi, sweetie. Camille, all clear, that's great. Any technical problems, issues, anything? Nope, all good for Jocelyn, awesome. Pamela, hi, Pamela. Myrona, it's perfectly clear. Awesome. Kat, all good, thanks. Awesome. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen here. And see if I can get you in to what I need to do. Okay. I'm just going to see if I can right now open up my presentation so I can get you on. Just chat among yourselves, by the way, while I'm doing this. Okay, and yes, there we are. Okay, so I think I'm on dual screen right now. It's still loading a little bit because my internet connection is not that great. But I might switch on to 4G actually, so let's see how that goes. Hello. I've now switched over to 4G. So hopefully this will be a better experience for you guys over the side of the screen. And I'm going to go back to sharing again. And you see my presentation anytime soon. Okay, awesome. Jocelyn can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, just so you know, is I'm going to go into this presentation right now. I'm going to go full on into the presentation. Please leave any questions in the chat or click the ask a question button if you actually want me to answer it at the end, because I'm going to prioritize the ask a question questions in that area. And we'll basically take it from there, but basically sit back, relax, enjoy. I'm going to start going into the presentation now. Okay, so with any luck, you will be able to see and hear me. And if you can't, I'm sure that my trusty assistant Megan will WhatsApp me to let me know. But basically, the presentation today, or the class today, is about 3 success tips for working in a virtual team quickly and without needing a CV or even prior experience. And I know this is what a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people hold themselves back from going into working in a virtual team because they think, oh, well, I don't have a CV, I don't have anything that shows prior experience working in a team, or even working as a VA, even to start working as a VA. So we're going to address these issues and these problems to start with, but basically, I'm going to give you a blueprint of how this is going to work for you guys. So today, you'll discover the fastest, simplest, and most direct way to start growing your virtual assistant business inside a team. And we're going to go into this in depth, and it's really about the whole team environment thing. So 3 things you need to know about me before we start is that I joined the industry, or the virtual assistant industry, or VA industry, in 2005 from a desire to have personal and professional freedom. And for those of you who know my story, you'll know that I basically kind of quit the UK, or United Kingdom, England, cold turkey, and I basically came out to Egypt on a one-way ticket. And I started my business very shortly after I arrived in Egypt, basically on the premise that I didn't want to ever go back to where I was. I then created a multi-6-figure virtual assistant business from scratch, selling products and services, and living in 7 countries and being a mum to 3 kids. And I'm also the creator of OneSourcing, which is a concept that I've put together as an alternative VA service, and I hire a team of VAs myself. So that's me in a very small nutshell. But basically that gives you some kind of idea of who I am. And today you're going to learn from me how to end all your worries, doubts, and overwhelm about growing your business through working on a virtual team, how simple this process can be, and it doesn't take having a complex CV. For those of you in America, CV is also a resume. Or even prior experience. So you can essentially start from 0. So wherever you are right now, and in fact, I would say this is probably the best webinar I can teach in terms of if you've had no prior experience whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you have had prior experience. It doesn't matter if you've got a VA business right now. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit further down the line. All this information is going to be really valuable to you. But particularly if you're starting out from scratch with no prior experience at all, then this is really super applicable to you. And you'll experience a live walkthrough of my proven 3 top tips for being a standout person for getting hired on a virtual team, and that will help you get started today. So you'll also learn inside this webinar exactly how to find your place on a virtual team. And this is like not just like a pie in the sky thing. This is proven, tried and tested. I've had several people this last month come to me thanking me for the fact that they followed my advice, they've taken my instruction, and they found themselves added on to other OneSourcing teams or virtual teams inside our OneSourcing community. So this isn't just outside, but this is all happening inside the community and the people that I've sort of built around me. And I've had like several people say, hang on a minute, I haven't been hired on just 1 team, but I've been hired on like 2, sometimes 3 teams. So this is what we're looking at: how to increase your hours without needing more clients, because that's a big thing as well, because we're all like, oh, we've got our hours, and then if we want to increase those hours, we need another client, but that's not necessarily always the case. And how to get a raise in terms of income from your OneSourcer. Now, when I talk about OneSourcer, I'm talking about somebody who's hiring in a virtual team. So somebody who's hiring other virtual assistants, but a OneSourcer can be a team leader or an online business consultant or an online business manager, any one of those roles. So how to get a raise from your OneSourcer. And I'm also going to offer you a chance to work with me. So I'll be making an offer at the very end of this training. So not during the content, but the very end. And this will be the 2nd time and the last time I'm offering this opportunity this year. Okay, so if you're here with me now, just know, or if you're listening to the replay, this is only the second time I have offered this year, in this entire year, and it's also the last time I'm going to be offering this opportunity. And whether or not you take the offer at the end of the webinar, you're going to get tremendous value from this session anyway. So just stick around. And why is this different? Well, it's dramatically different from other webinars you may have attended in the past because it gives you the exact blueprint for moving forward with reaching your supporter goals in a virtual team. Now, in terms of terminology, to me, supporter means somebody who supports another VA on a team. So it's somebody who is building a team and you're supporting them working in their team, or it could even be supporting a client, but primarily what we're looking at is being a supporter on a virtual team. You'll also be guided step by step through the entire process, which means you'll leave this training 100% able to move forward and implement these tips that I'm going to share with you today. And if you're already doing well, you'll be getting some new ideas to help you get even better results. So, first of all, as always, if anyone knows my webinars, I always like to talk about the problems to start with so we can kind of address those in the training as a solution to those problems. And I really want to be sure you're in the right place right now. So let me know if any of these problems resonate with you, because if any of them do, I know this webinar is definitely for you and you're definitely in the right place. So the first thing is the idea of starting your VA business is leaving you feeling a little bit overwhelmed because you've not had any prior experience. So let's say you're coming out of corporate environment. Let's say you're coming out of a job. Let's say you've been trying to get your VA business off the ground, but you've not quite been able to do that yet. So the idea of starting this VA business is leaving you a little bit overwhelmed, like a rabbit in headlights, like where do I go from here? How do I start? What do I do? That type of thing. You like the idea of working on a team, but you're not sure where to start or if anyone would even want to hire you. Because again, it's that hang up, it's that anxiety that I've never worked on a team, I've never done VA work, I've never done kaza is Arabic, by the way. So it's about the idea of working on team leaves you feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Like, am I going to be good enough to be on that team? Am I going to be able to cut the mustard when it comes to working amongst all the other people on that team? And then finally, you're not 100% certain that you're taking the right approach because you're on a team already, but you feel stuck, unable to get ahead. So if you're already on a VA team, if you're already working with another OneSourcer, yet you don't feel like you're quite making it, do you feel a little bit stuck where you are, like I can't move forward? So what I want from you guys is to just let me know in the chat room if any of that resonates with you, if there is anything in there that kind of, Kat says it's definitely me. Oh, hi, Nicolina from Serbia. Hi, Sylvia. Yvonne said, yeah, that's me. Yes to both. Okay, that's really, really good. Okay, so we've got some people in here that are feeling this. Okay, that's really awesome. Yes, for the first one. Sylvia, love the idea of working with a team, as I think it's the best place to start, and we'd love to know where to start. Great. So Sylvia, you're definitely in the right place. Number two, where to start. Viv, you're definitely in the right place. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Sarah, newbie getting started. Awesome. Okay, guys, so that's awesome. I know you're all in the right place, and then we're going to continue now. Okay. So, does this sound like you? Is this where you really want to be? You want to feel confident in your work and your work with clients. So confidence is a really important thing. Confidence is like one of the most important things. Yet oftentimes we don't feel confident because we haven't actually gone out and got that real world experience in working in a virtual team or working online or working with a client, things like that. So that tends to kind of like deplete our confidence, because although we may have come out of 10 years of corporate EA work, or, you know, like I worked in this marketing agency, or I did this, you know, like we're still not feeling like, oh, I know what I'm doing in this particular role. So that's the first thing. You want to learn from others who have built successful virtual assistant businesses while getting paid at the same time. And this is the wonderful thing about working on a virtual team, is that you get to learn from people who have built up, usually solo, into a team. I don't know any VA who has just gone directly into a VA team. I know a lot of VAs who have built up solo, started hiring, started building a team, and then gone on to be successful that way. So in my mind, that's a really good entry point for any VA to like basically sit there and learn from someone and get paid to learn, because that VA or that one sourcer is going to be helping you every step of the way in order to make sure that you fit and meet in with the criteria of their virtual team. You love the idea of working individually or as part of a team, but you don't know how to grow your business, increasing both your contributions and your income. And that's two really important factors in this whole process, is that when you're working on a virtual team, what you want to be doing is increasing your contributions onto that team. And then that will in success increase your income. So increase your contributions, increase your income. Increase contributions, increase income. This is two really important factors. And then there's something that's seemingly stopping you from creating the level of success that you want. So these are all factors that we have to consider and we have to keep in mind when we're doing this. So if you answered yes to any of those questions, you are absolutely in the right place right now for this training. I'm going to keep this training really brief, really succinct. Grab a notepad, grab a pen, take notes wherever you can, because these are real simple steps that are going to really, really help you to start moving forward and achieving what you need to achieve through working on a virtual team. And why should you listen to me? Well, I've been where you are right now, literally wherever you are right now, whether it's starting out from scratch, whether it's currently getting your feet wet in a virtual team, whether it's currently working solo as a VA, whether it's currently building your business and starting to grow your own team. I've been there in every scenario, in every situation. I started my virtual assistant business in 2005, and I absolutely worked my rear off to generate more clients and more income. That was my primary focus. I remember when I started, I was kind of dabbling in it, and I was a solo VA, and I was a single woman at the time, and all I wanted to do was start my business so I could travel. And then a year or so, or 2 years into it, I realized after I became pregnant that this was going to be my primary source of income. This was going to be the backbone of providing for my family. So basically what I did from there is I started to take it very, very seriously. And for me, that meant more clients, more work, more hours, more billable time, more. I was really stressed out during this stage because I was spending endless hours trying to teach myself everything under the sun about virtual assistants without any guidance or real life experience working with clients. So I could feel super confident in what I was doing. So I was basically going along and saying, right, I need to learn that. I need to learn this. I need to do that. I need to complete this. I need to have this skill under my belt in order to be doing it, you know. And then basically what I found was technology was always moving forward and moving ahead. And I was always trying to basically run around the hamster wheel trying to keep up with it. And it didn't necessarily serve me that well to be able to do that, because I was just trying to be everything for everybody. And that didn't work out so well for me. And then I went through a huge learning curve on my own, completely on my own, investing so much of my time into this process, which led me to feel a sense of cabin fever. In cabin fever, you know, like my dad was in the subs, like he was a submariner. So like, I know all about cabin fever. It's like when you're feeling trapped, when you're feeling like you're the only person there and there's nowhere else to go. And basically it was centered around working alone from home. You know, I was completely isolated. I was just on my computer, on my laptop, day in, day out, trying to make this business work. And I needed to feel like I was part of something bigger, like there was more to this than just me. And that's what I love about the retreat that we just did, because the feeling of camaraderie and the feeling of being together and working together and collaborating together was really, really there. And it's also really, really there inside all digital communities as well. So I basically made a discovery that, and it came from when I was offered a position one day with a brand new client. And I was told that this position will be shared with another VA on his team. And that was the first time that I basically was introduced to the concept of the fact that I wasn't going to be working on my own. I was going to be working with another VA, and she was going to be doing a very similar role to me. And we were going to share the responsibility, and we were going to share everything that was going on. And this client basically came to me and said, okay, I want to hire you, but I'm also hiring this other person. When I started working with this client, the pressure was immediately taken away, as I was getting trained by an expert, because he brought somebody else in who had already been doing the job solo. So basically what was happening was he had somebody on his team who was already doing the job solo. She got over capacity, and then he was like, I'm going to hire 2 more people. And that's kind of where my pyramid team scheme came in. So basically you hire one person who then trains 2 other people. So it's kind of like that. And then basically I got trained with this other VA, and I learned so much, and the pressure was off of me because I didn't feel solely responsible for this client. I didn't feel solely responsible for the outcome of everything in the business. I got trained by the person that he'd personally trained to be able to do the job really, really well. And I was really enjoying interacting with my colleagues, or my colleague, or the person training me, and the other VA that was doing the job. And I learned so much from that role, like literally so much. And I then went on to become one of the top VAs online. I built a team of my own, and to this day, I still implement and teach other VAs what I learned from working in that business, and from being on that team, and from sharing that role and sharing that job. It was an absolutely invaluable experience that definitely, without a doubt, led me into building a successful business. And I don't think, if I answer honestly, I don't think that I would have been able to build as a successful business had I not had that experience of working on that team and having that knowledge passed on to me, and everything else that goes with it. So my transformation was, I really, really learned the value at that point of virtual teams, and not just from a work aspect, but from a learning aspect and a social aspect too, because I became friends with this other VA that I was working with. We had interactions. We were able to collaborate online together. It became more than just, I'm doing a job for a client. You know, it became sort of a kind of like water cooler scenario, but online. And that was really something special for me when I've been struggling so much on my own to try and make things work and do everything solo. So then I designed a structured approach to intaking new team members onto my team and training them to be able to follow processes and procedures to keep everything organized, which really took the pressure off of me and greatly increased the overall quality of the output coming from my business. So this is when you start to really see the value in virtual teams and working together in collaboration with each other. It is really, really invaluable. So I built into this system measures to ensure that both the virtual assistants on the team and the people hiring them all have fair and reasonable guidelines to manage expectations, which also creates a great online team environment. So I'm kind of like building this infrastructure of how VAs and people hiring VAs onto their VA teams can work together and build their business together and collaborate together and grow together and nurture each other and become better just through the collaboration, the interaction with each other. And this created really an amazing community that's producing excellent virtual assistants right now. My one sourcing community is honestly, for me, creating some of the most heart-centered virtual assistants that I've come across on the web, but also the most skilled virtual assistants as well, because we all know the protocol. And the protocol is what I'm going to kind of like touch on inside this video as well. But once you get this protocol, you really have no issues with being able to build your VA business and develop yourself on a VA team, because it's just so black and white how you succeed. And I can say that truthfully and honestly, if you listen to what's inside this class upcoming, you will have that black and white approach to, okay, this is how I succeed on a virtual team. And then basically what this means is that between and amongst ourselves, we're hiring and being hired, we're increasing the volume of business and the quality of service. And that's all we can really ask for as virtual assistants or as online service providers, basically. It's about increasing the quality of service for the clients, and it's about increasing the volume of work for each other, so we are all able to thrive. All able to thrive. So now it's your turn. Now it's time for me to teach you a little bit about what I know. So I want to show you my proven top 3 tips for succeeding as a supporter in a virtual team. If you have any questions about this whatsoever, click the Ask a Question button and you'll be able to leave a question there, and I'll get to it right at the end of this training once I finish this presentation. So I want to introduce you to what I call the one sourcing supporter. So this is all about becoming a one sourcing supporter and how that can dramatically increase your chances of success on a virtual team. So one sourcing is the methodology of working with a client in one team with one go-to person who has their people that work for them or with them, and those people are called supporters. So it's about slotting yourself in with your skills, with your expertise, with everything that you know, or even with everything that you don't know. If you're starting out, it still works just as well, into a team so you're able to grow and nurture yourself and be nurtured by a one sourcer as a supporter. And it's all about your success on a virtual team. So 3 top tips. The first one is all centered around getting hired. So this is kind of like 3 top tips, but then 3 kind of like sub tips underneath. So the first one, if you want to get hired on a virtual team, you have to first of all find the virtual assistants with the teams. Okay, so this should be your priority. If you want to work on a virtual team, your first priority is to find the virtual assistants who are out there hiring other virtual assistants and who are hiring team members. So you can do this by joining communities of virtual assistants. And now a lot of people will say, a lot of VAs actually, I've come across a lot of VAs who will tell you, don't hang out in the VA communities. That's not where your clients are. However, if you're a one sourcing supporter, that's exactly where your clients are. So hang out in the VA communities, because regardless of anything else, there is potential business within those communities available to you. So I would say join the communities of virtual assistants, including mine. I've got the VA Academy, and most of you are probably aware of that. And post a poll or a survey to see who is solo and who has got a team. Remember, if you're going to post a poll like that, I would always say it's always a good idea to get permission from the owner of the group. Not necessarily from my perspective, because I'm really quite open and very collaborative with people in my groups and things like that. But if you're going into any other outside groups and you want to post a poll about who's got a solo business and who's hiring a team, then do check and get permission from the owner. But what you want to do is use this as a little research project to find out who has VA teams, or who is going into VA teams, or who is hiring a VA team. And you can do that really with a simple poll. It's really easy on Facebook. You can do it in a Facebook group. But what you want to do is start really paying attention and looking for those virtual assistants who have teams. So you can find this particularly in the one sourcing group, because there's a lot of people posting in the one sourcing group saying they're looking to hire people, that type of thing. But the first thing you need to prioritize is finding the virtual assistants with teams or looking to imminently go into a team environment. The next thing, once you do that, is to make yourself known. So there are several things in marketing groups. I know that Kim Luna does it. I know that there are various other online entrepreneurs that do it, where they have like these marketing days, so like Marketing Monday and things like that. So anytime inside these groups you see something come up, it might be an entrepreneurial group, it might be a VA group, but every time you see something come up that gives you the opportunity to do some kind of self-promotion, take it. Take that opportunity, whether it's posting your funnel to bring people into your application form to work with you, whether it is to say that you're on a, you're available and you want to be hired on a virtual team, whether it's to say that you're just starting out in business and this is what you do and this is what you love, whether it's asking people if they're interested in any hiring or are there any issues that you want to talk about, that type of thing, anything like that, just make yourself known. But do it in such a way that isn't offensive to anyone. Like, you're not just kind of like going in a group and posting. And it happens in my group as well. I mean, I'm fairly open-minded and fairly tolerant of people inside my group. But when someone joins immediately and like they've been in the group for 5 minutes and then they're suddenly self-promoting in that group, it does get a little bit annoying. So stick to the lane that you've been provided with. So if it's Marketing Monday, if it's self-promotion Sunday, whatever it is, self-promote yourself for sure, but do it in the right and correct way. And if the group that you are joined or you have joined doesn't have these specific days or opportunities where you can self-promote, just contact the owner of the group and say, do you mind if I let people know in your group about my services? But basically, it's all about the second thing, you're making yourself known. And then the final part of step one is to join the One Sourcing community. So please do join my One Sourcing community, because we have an incredible amount of virtual assistants who are all hiring each other, and they're doing it through One Sourcing. And the reason why they're hiring each other through One Sourcing is because they trust the One Sourcing model. Okay, so they know this person has taken the supporter, they understand. This person taking the entrepreneur, they understand, consultant, etc., etc. So my One Sourcing community is a really, really good source of virtual assistants and people to get hired. I remember this month I was mentoring one lady, and she made it her commitment, her goal, like we talked about it, we discussed it, but her goal was to be a part of a One Sourcing team by the 1st of October, and then she ended up finding herself on 2 teams. So it's really about setting the intention, moving forward with the goal, and then getting hired. The first part is to get hired, and those tips should really be a really good starting point. Just a few places that you can look at, places you can think about to go from there. Now, step 2, once you're on the team, is all about increasing your hours. Okay, so once you're on that VA team, to me, your focus point should be then about increasing your hours on the team, doing more for that VA, doing more for that person who's hiring you, for the person who's in charge and responsible of the VA team. So the first thing I would suggest you do in order to do this and start increasing your hours is to sharpen and increase your skills. Okay, so it's all about the skills. So keep your existing skills really super sharp. So anything that you know how to do, or you're doing well, or you're able to do right now, just keep those skills really, really sharp. Make sure you're always really on top of that. If it's new technology that you've got to learn, if it's new, something coming new in on the market, anything like that, if it's a way to become more efficient or more time efficient, or a way to increase productivity or anything like that, make sure that you really keep those skills sharp. So own your thing. Own what you do. And the second thing is to be the go-to person, you know, like you're doing this to be the go-to person and learn new skills to expand your ability to take on other roles. So that's the first step, or the first part, increasing your hours on an existing VA team. You want to keep your skills sharp so the person that's hiring you knows that you're a really, really good person to hire. And you also want to be able to expand your skills so you can potentially increase your hours and go into other roles and other things that you potentially do there. That's the first thing. And again, you know, like when we're working on teams, when we're hiring team members, ideally we want to hire somebody who is a little bit diverse. Who yes, we want the specialist, but we want also the diversity. So we can say to that person, okay, oh, so-and-so's off today. Do you mind stepping in and taking that over? So that's the second thing. So then make suggestions for improvement. Okay, so if you really, really want to secure your place on the VA team and you really want to increase your hours on the VA team, you need to constantly be searching for things to improve for the person that you're hiring. So make suggestions to help or improve where you can, and ask if you can implement then. Asking if you can implement is a really vital, important part of this process, because if you go to someone and just make a suggestion, what you're doing is going, oh, I think we should do this. And then they're going, okay, that sounds good. But then you're saying, okay, I think we should do this. When can I start? And that's really the most important thing. It's about like, when can I start? How can I get us there as quickly as possible? Are you interested in this idea? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's going to improve things for you? Yes. Okay, good. Great. Let me take this for you. Let me do this for you. And believe me, OneSourcers are looking for people to say, I'm going to take this off your plate. Don't even think about it. Okay, so this is the second thing that you need to know and understand about increasing hours, is that you make suggestions for improvement and then you ask if you can implement those suggestions for improvement. And then the final thing that you can do to increase your hours is offer to train other people. So this is all about sharing your knowledge and sharing your expertise and sharing your experience. And you might be, for example, on a VA team for a little while, and let's say you're the only person that handles certain tasks, certain projects, or certain things that you do on that team. And then you say, do you know what? I would love to be able to help you work with someone else and train someone else to be able to do this. So that is another way that you can potentially increase your hours on that virtual team when you're offering to train and support other people on the team. So that's step 2. Those are my few tips for increasing hours as you work with a virtual team. Now, the final one is step 3, increasing your income. And this is chronological, by the way. First of all, you get hired. And then the best thing you can do from getting hired is increasing your hours, because increasing your hours means you get the opportunity and the chance to prove yourself to the person who's hiring you. But then once you've done that, then it's time to start looking at increasing your income on the virtual team. And know that there will always be restrictions to this. Particularly in my training, I teach OneSourcers who are hiring supporters onto their team, that really you don't want to pay your team members more than 50% charging the client. Now, this isn't because they think you're worth half of the amount of money, but that OneSourcer has overheads and has expenses and has things that they need to think about, factor in, but they still need to make some kind of a profit. So once you factor all these things in, really a OneSourcer can't pay much more than 50% of what they're actually charging back to the client. So know that there are restrictions on increasing your income on a virtual team, but that doesn't mean to say that it isn't possible for you to do that. So the first thing you need to do is be innovative. Okay, so now we're moving into the entrepreneurial space. Be innovative when it comes to business development with your OneSourcer. And what that means is bringing new ideas to the table, making suggestions, looking at potential ways to increase profitability in the business, that type of thing. yes, it's not directly your business, but indirectly it's your business because you're working on that team and you're working with that person. Now, any contribution you can make to the profitability of the business gives you the opportunity to earn more money because you're increasing the profitability, and therefore the VA can actually pay you a little bit more. So it's all about earning your stripes. It's all about saying, hey, listen to me, I've got something good to offer here, and this is a result it's going to give for you. So increasing hours is not always results based. It's more based on like, you know, like I'm really shit hot at what I do, and this is how I can help you with that. But increasing your income is really more strategic. It's really more about thinking entrepreneurial and thinking, how can I make this business and this team that I'm working on be better? So come to the table with new ideas for your OneSourcer. The second thing is to keep impeccable records. Okay, you want really, really good records. Keep a comprehensive list of all the awesome things that occurred as a result of your actions, whether this be feedback from your client's client or your OneSource client, whether this be results that occurred increasing subscribers or increasing attendees on a webinar or doing kaza, kaza, kaza. So anything like that, anything that is in your area of expertise that you implemented within that VA team, make a note of it. You want to make a note of all of the results that you have been able to achieve for the person that's hiring you on their team or for the OneSourcer. So keep that in mind and make sure that you always make a note of the results that you have helped them achieve. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be financial. It can be in terms of volumes or numbers or anything like that. But it's all about the results. It could be increasing the quality of something even. It's about saying, hey, I did this for you. Recognize this. You know, recognize that this would never have happened if it wasn't for me. And when you do that, you basically become indispensable. So be so good at what you do that nobody could ever let you go. This is the ultimate. Be so good at what you do that nobody could ever let you go. And that is absolutely true. There have been times when I have literally kept people on and still paid them, even though I had not necessarily any work for them at the time, because they were so good at what they did that I would absolutely not want to lose them. And you want to put yourself in that same position. You want to be that person that never, ever is let go because of dropping the ball, because of lack of interest, because of lack of care, because of any of that. Become indispensable. Care about what you do. Care about your skills. Care about keeping them sharp. Care about the team that you're working with. Care about your teammates. Care about the person that you're working with in terms of your client or your OneSourcer. And you will become indispensable purely off of this. And that is how you get to increase your income on a virtual team. So those are my top 3 tips. Let's recap at everything that you've learned today. So you need to become a part of lots of active communities of virtual assistants that are supportive and collaborate with each other. We're not talking about the protective type of virtual assistants who don't want to share any knowledge or share any information. They're all about me, me, me. No, it's not about that. It's about working together. It's about coming out and saying, I'm part of this community. I want to be a part of this community, and I want to help elevate everyone in this community. I want to help make everyone in this community better. And that is the secret to being hired as a supporter. It's about coming out there and not being protective or precious about who you are and what you do. It's all about the other person. It's all about adding value. It's all about making this community expand and thrive. The next thing is you need to commit to improving your skills and learning new ones. Okay, so this is a never-ending cycle. Technology is moving so fast right now, so fast. So you can't just go into this world and say, hey, I know how to do this, and then that's it for the next 10 years. It's all about, am I keeping up with the times? Am I keeping up with how to do this skill or this system or anything like that? So that's the second thing. Another thing you've learned is you need to be confident in making suggestions for improvement, and you need to innovate wherever you can. Innovation is so important in increasing your income, okay? So be confident, make suggestions for improvement. Making suggestions for improvement will increase your hours, because as soon as you go back and suggest, hey, we should be doing this, and this is a result of that, you know, your one sourcer is going to be like, okay, let's do that. But then you also, if you're entrepreneurial, got to innovate, and that's how you increase your income. So increase hours, increase income, improvement and innovation. Then you need to keep detailed records of testimonials and other successes that you can use to highlight your value to your one sourcer. You know, like one of the big things to me, or the big lessons that I learned, is when I was in employment, and everyone was always used to say to me, like, how are you getting so many increases? Like, because I used to be able to take maybe 2 or 3 increases a year, where some people were lucky if they got 1. And basically what I used to do is I used to work my butt off to make sure that I was innovating, to make sure that I was making suggestions, to make sure that I was looking at every detail and thinking, how can this be improved? And when I did that, I kept a record of it. And I would go to my employer, and I know this is an employment scenario and it doesn't work exactly the same, but it's very similar. I would go to my employer and say, hey, so in the last 5 months, I've suggested this, and this is what's happened as a result. I've done this, and this is what's happened as a result. I've done this, and this is what happens as a result. Don't you think that based on all this stuff, I deserve an increase? And that's literally how I was able to incrementally increase my income with my employer. And I'm not saying that this is always going to be quick to the virtual environment, because like I said, there are restrictions. There are always restrictions for entrepreneurs when they're hiring. But if you still are within the boundaries of those restrictions, you will be able to increase your income and your hours through simply this simple act of record keeping. Keeping feedback from clients, records of conversations, anything like that. Just making sure that you are able to really highlight in black and white the value that you bring to the table for that team. So, now you have a choice. And the choice is, number one, to either take what you've learned and just go ahead and apply it yourself. So I've given you some really, really good tips. You know, find the communities, find the VAs who are hiring. Go in there, brush up on your skills, learn new skills. You know, it's all real actionable, implementable things that you can do right now based on this webinar. But the other choice, and some might say this is a smart choice, is to let me help you succeed as part of a VA team. Let me personally help you and welcome you into my community and into our community, where we are all collaborating and working together to build virtual teams, to be a part of a virtual team. And that's basically how it works. So as promised, I'm going to offer you my One Sourcing Supporter program, which is all about building success in a virtual team. So to give you a bit of an overview of what this is and what it will do for you, I'm going to walk you through this now. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please do post them now and I'll be able to get to them at the end. But I'm just going to walk you through this, and just know that at the end of this section, I'm going to be answering questions. But basically, this program will help you to pursue and achieve your ambitions for starting and growing your business on a team with one very clear direction, so you're not wasting valuable time and resources on dead ends. You'll also be guided step by step in developing an immaculate, streamlined, purposeful online service business supporting other virtual assistants. And this is what the supporter role is all about. It's about integrating yourself into virtual teams. There's less responsibility involved. but it's really, really worth it, particularly when you're going through that learning curve, or you're in a position where you really want to gain experience without the huge responsibility of being solely responsible for that individual. And what this means is you can have the stability and the security without all the guesswork, so you won't have to invest an incredible amount of time, literally over years it took me, into getting it right. So you'll be able to start reaching your goals from the get-go. And here is how it works. So the One Sourcing Supporter is a self-paced program where I guide you through my exact plan for achieving a place on a VA team where you can really thrive. You'll also have a fully done for you process, including all the training materials that you can implement immediately and proceed at your own pace. This is something that's purely self-paced. It's not like I'm going to give you a piece and a piece and a piece and then you have to wait for all these things. It's entirely self-paced. You get the entire course, the entire program, all of the learning materials, everything immediately when you sign up. So it's not like you have to wait, and it's not like you have to feel under pressure that you've got to complete everything straight away. And you also have the option to join our community in Veterans Friday, the One Sourcing community, and enter into the Black Book, which is where you promote yourself. So module 1 is all about lifestyle. So we're going to look at how being a supporter fits in with your lifestyle choices, because for me, One Sourcing is all about lifestyle. It's lifestyle first, business second. So it's how this role will fit in with your lifestyle choices, how a supporter role can provide you with the stability but less responsibility of being a solo VA, and also how to keep a healthy mindset while working online, and how to sustain a healthy body while working online. So these are all really good lifestyle foundation points for getting started and working in a virtual team, which is actually a lot easier than if you're just going to try and set yourself up as a freelancer and do it all on your own. Then the second module is all about building the foundation. So I'm going to talk you through the role-based system that is One Sourcing and the different team roles that you could potentially find yourself in. We'll also look at the systems and equipment that you're going to need to be able to use in order to fulfill a One Sourcing supporter role. And really, it's not as expensive or time-consuming as you think to be able to do that. It's very, very simple. And then we're going to look at setting up, so how you take the One Sourcing supporter business online, and then the expectations and requirements that would be expected of you and what you should expect from the person hiring you onto their team. Now, once we've done that, we're going to look at teamwork. So we're going to look at setting boundaries and giving you a set of guidelines for working together with your One Sourcer, so everybody is happy and everybody is on the same page. We then look at how you'll integrate into a One Sourcing team, working with other people amongst that team. Then we're going to look at the training that will be provided or should be provided by a One Sourcer, and collaboration on how to effectively communicate with your One Sourcer, which is essentially your client or the person hiring you, and also with your teammates as well. Then we move into module 4, which is all about income. So in this module, we're going to look at what you can expect to earn as a One Sourcing supporter. We're going to look at invoicing your One Sourcer and where to get paid and how they should be paying you. We're going to be looking at hiring sites, which is honestly not my complete sole area of expertise, because I've never been hired on a hiring site, but I have done a lot of hiring from hiring sites. And these are sites like Odesk and Freelancer and Upwork and things like that. So how freelancer hiring sites fit in with the One Sourcing model, because it's not just about you being part of a virtual team with a One Sourcer, but it's about how you can actually go out there and find other virtual teams that are outside of One Sourcing and work in those as well. And we're also going to be looking at contracts. So when there are formal documents required to be in One Sourcing, or to basically put yourself out there and get hired onto a VA team. Module 5 is all about the clients. So it's about the attributes that One Sourcers are looking for in you or in a supporter. So the things that you need to have the characteristics that you need to have, the things that you need to really shine in, and to be able to get hired very, very easily. Then there is also the idea that you can still serve independent clients when you're working as a one-sourcing supporter, because you absolutely can, and how being on a virtual team can merge in with serving other clients as a solo VA as well. Then we're going to look at securing one sources, so how to secure your place on a one sourcing team. And we've touched on a couple of points and a couple of tips in this class, but there are many more. And then there's also the communication aspect of it as well. So using communication as a tool to retain your clients. And again, that touches on the innovation, that touches on really being open and willing to learn new things. But there are also other aspects to it that you can introduce into your business. And then finally, there is the growth aspect. So we're looking at skills development, which we touched on inside this class, but how to grow your skills on a one sourcing team and how that can be a real advantage to you as well. How to increase your earnings in the supporter role. So again, we touched on a couple of things, but there are other things that you can do and other suggestions that I have in order to increase your earnings on a team. Then there are prospects. So basically looking at the future of your one sourcing business as a supporter. And then there's finally sustainability. So maintaining a steady and sustainable position on a virtual assistant team and how you really secure that for the long term. So in addition to that, there is also the One Sourcing Facebook group. So you'll get access to my private One Sourcing Facebook group. This is not the public one, this is the private one. And you'll also have plenty of support in there to help you grow. And you will also have access to my One Sourcing coaching calls. So every month I do a call for everybody in my One Sourcing program. So you'll have access to VAs who are hired, solo VAs, people with teams, people without teams, consultants, all sorts of really amazing people, including potential clients as well because of the business program. And we have this kind of like focused Q&A. So you're never on your own. You're never left in the dark with this. If you go through training, if you have questions, anything like that, there is always this call that you can attend. And I have these calls to ensure that you get really the full help and support that you need to stay on track in your business. They're hosted by me every month and they're ongoing. There are no restrictions. It is a self-paced program and I am basically there for you when you need me. So feel free to attend these calls while you're going through the program or after the program. It's entirely up to you. When you finish the program, even after that, you can come, contribute, be a part of the community and join in on these calls. There is no excuse for you to not succeed when you get this kind of level of support, working with someone or working with an entrepreneur or coach who's going to help you achieve the success that they've actually achieved. So that's coming from my standpoint. And then you also get a whole bunch of bonus courses. So you get my shoestring program, my Rockstar, the Administrator, Marketer, and Creator, which are my service programs. You also get several guides, including my fast track project management guide. You'll get my team building guide, and you also get Project Me, which is more about health, well-being, and sort of following me on my weight loss journey and things like that, which is all really vital components of having a healthy business. A healthy you equates to a healthy business. So there are many different things in there about mindset, about skills, practical elements, that type of thing that you get as a bonus when you join this program. And this is really special because unlike most courses that just tell you what to do, you're getting completely fully supported, tried and tested system on being part of a virtual team. And literally this is fully supported. Every month I'm there for you. What this means to you is that you'll save hundreds of hours of trial and error, which is what I basically invested into figuring this all out yourself. So let me do that for you. Let me share what I know with you. Let me share what I know works. And also it means you skip the guesswork and you get to go straight to a proven strategy without having to figure it all out on your own. And this is really the priceless element. And imagine this, that you're never struggling with knowing what to do and what not to do to succeed on a virtual assistant team. You have everything you possibly need to start, grow, and scale up your business, and you're able to successfully execute a plan of action with full support from the person who designed it, and that's me. And you'll see results, achieve your goals, and feel incredible for it. So this is like a no-brainer. If you're interested in working on a virtual team, if you're interested in getting started in your virtual business, then this is the way to go. And the impact for you is that this will provide you with a very comfortable business, okay? I'm not in this for kind of like, oh, single client, you know, like, we'll call it a day, that's it, that's all we need, nothing's going to go any further than that. It's about success. It's about long-term success. It's about building your authority and helping you secure clients or secure a place in the long term on a VA team, and give you that potential to scale up from there as well. You'll have a clearly defined plan in place to develop your supported business, from finding teams that you can potentially work with to securing your role within those teams to increasing your income. Also, you can achieve total success working in virtual teams. So I'm literally going to give you everything that you need to know in terms of joining the team, establishing yourself on the team, increasing your hours, increasing your income, just basically thriving in this environment. This means no more struggling with trying to determine how you can move forward with your business. And you can basically then focus your time and energy into moving forward in the right direction consistently. And this is the most direct path to becoming an integral part of a VA team, and you'll have complete confidence every step of the way. So, just so you know, the value today of this program, which I usually sell it for, is $2,997. And you'll have my private members area Facebook group. You'll also have access to ongoing monthly Q&A calls, and you'll get the 5 bonus courses and the 3 bonus guides, which are in fact coming down imminently, since Business Catalyst or Adobe Business Catalyst announced that they were withdrawing their Adobe Business Catalyst product. I have decided that I'm going to withdraw the courses and the bonus guides from my training materials as soon as we switch over, which is imminent. So you won't actually be able to access these things as soon as we've actually moved our sites over. So that's one reason to really take advantage of this right now. And your special deal is that even though this is a total value of $2,997, that's not what you're going to be paying, because I want to say thank you for attending this webinar. Act now and you'll get instant access at a discounted rate of $1,497. And there are 12 and 24-month payment plans starting from only £97 a month. So this is way cheaper and way more valuable than a semester in college. And believe me, it's way more valuable because I didn't go to college, and I'm doing a lot better probably than a lot of the people that I went to school with who did go to college. So this isn't all about that. It's about actually, you know, like grasping entrepreneurship, knowing what you need to do to make money, knowing what you need to do to live a successful life and be happy. So get registered now, click the green button on the screen. Hopefully Megan would have put that up for you now, and you'll get instant access and you'll save £1,500. So you can literally start working towards real results today, and this is the lowest price that you can ever get. And the doors to this special opportunity close on October 22nd. So this is the only time that you're going to be able to get this. But there is also something in addition that I want to throw in here for you, which is really super cool, by the way. So the value of the program is $2,997. To say thank you for attending my webinar, you get an exclusive 12 or 24-month payment plan. But if you decide that this is the way forward for you, and everything we talked about increasing your skills and sharpening your skills and expanding your skills, I've decided that I am going to purchase a copy of Daniel Greason's Online Business Skills for you if you make a single payment. Now, if you already have Daniel Greason's Online Biz Skills, there is another potential opportunity for you with Gretchen Bruner's How to Become a Speaker VA, which I will also purchase for you if you've already got the Online Biz Skills. So those are the options. You can make a full payment, one-time payment, and if you do that, I will personally invest in you and buy for you either Danielle Greason's Online Biz Skills or Gretchen Bruner's How to Become a Speaker VA. Both incredible programs for helping you really get the skills that you need in order to be a valuable asset on a virtual assistant team. And also as a solo VA as well, if that's what you want to do. But that is my special bonus to you, and that is for a single payment. So if you pay one single payment, I will personally purchase for you one of those 2 programs or courses. It's up to you which one you want. You can let me know. So the total value now is over £3,400 with a single payment option. And you can get started now for only $1,497 or as low as $97 a month if you want to go for the 24 payment option. And that is the value, the incredible value that you're getting today. It's the full program, my full program with the bonuses, with the option of the payment plan. But if you do pay a single payment, you also will have personally from me, I will gift you Danielle Greason's Online Biz Skills or Gretchen Bruner's How to Become a Speaker VA. And that is really super awesome. And I have never offered that before to anybody, by the way. Never, ever in a webinar have I done that. So now is your opportunity. If you were sitting on the fence with Danielle Greason, you want the Online Biz Skills, which is like currently selling for like $580, and Gretchen Bruner's is selling for $997. You know, you can literally get those free. One of those free when you purchase in a single payment option, my program, plus you get all the ongoing support from me as well. So what potential results are available to you? Before we go into Q&A, I just want to briefly touch on this, but I've been working with virtual assistants to help them develop their online businesses for over 6 years now, since 2011. And throughout this time, I have provided the help and support that they have needed to quit their full-time jobs, buy homes, become a stay-at-home mum, to double, triple, and quadruple their income, to grow their businesses to 6 figures. And Martha is an amazing example of that because she's done that with just 2 clients. And to travel the world, emigrate, and become location independent. So that's just what I've helped virtual assistants be able to do. And I've also helped a vast number of clients as well for over 13 years now, to go from working all hours, all days under the sun, to just maybe a couple of hours a day, to grow into $1 million business. And I've personally also done 6-figure launches inside my own business as well. So I've got that knowledge under my belt. This is not just about me sharing with you how to work in a virtual team, but it's also about me sharing with you how to help your clients get to where they need to be and get the results that you need to achieve for your clients as well. It's about having boundless time with their kids or to themselves, how to create thousands of dollars in monthly recurring income and generate sales online where previously they had no luck. So those are the kind of results that I have also been getting for clients. And now it is Q&A time, because I really felt like I wanted to get as much in that session as I possibly could, but I wanted to leave time for us to be able to go through and do a Q&A, and we do have a little bit of time left to be able to do that. So if you're on board with Supporter, do feel free to hit the add to cart button, the green button on the screen right now. If it's not there, hopefully it should be there. And for anybody who wants to do Q&A, I'm ready. And let's just close this screen. Oh my gosh, are you still there? Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. Let me know. I refreshed. Yay! Okay. I love technology. Okay. That's great, guys. Awesome. So let's do some Q&A. Just so you guys know, was that helpful? I hope you found those tips helpful. Really, that's pretty much what you need to be doing in order to get hired and to stay on the team and increase your hours and things like that. Shanika, how much did she miss? My supervisor interrupted me. Okay, so Shanika, we ended up going to module 6, and then we ended up basically sharing that I've opened up supporter at half price right now. So my supporter program is half price. And if you do a single payment, I will gift you either Daniel Greason's Online Biz Skills or Gretchen Bruner's How to Become a Speaker VA program. So you've got the opportunity right now, if you pay on a single payment, to get an additional training program for free as a gift from me. So that was basically what we did. I'm going to go now into Q&A and answer some questions because we're running out of time, but hopefully we'll be able to get through as much as possible. Okay, so first question from Laura. How do you pitch yourself and your skills when you don't have a formal social media portfolio or VA experience on your CV? Okay, so first of all, generally, when you're being hired on a virtual team, you won't be required to provide a CV because you're an independent contractor. So what we need to establish here is that CVs are technically for employees. When we're looking at a CV, we're looking to essentially hire an employee, and that's not what working as a supporter is all about. 1 second, I'm just going to turn off my air conditioning because it's getting chilly in here. What being a supporter is all about. It's not about being, like technically an employee and needing a CV and going through the interview process and things like that. Supporting is all about understanding and recognizing that we are all independent contractors. We all have our skills. We're all essentially going to be hired. So don't worry necessarily about having the VA experience. Another interesting thing about being a supporter is that usually the OneSourcer or the person hiring you will be looking to nurture you in a certain direction. So it's not really about them hiring you for the VA experience like a normal client would. Like a normal client would be thinking, well, I need a VA and I need them to be experienced in this, that, and the other. What the OneSourcer is looking for, or the one-sourcing entrepreneur, or whatever you want to call it, or the person hiring on their team, is they're looking for someone who can be nurtured. They're looking for certain characteristics. They're looking for certain traits, but they're not looking for the experience, because sometimes it's more advantageous to the one-sourcing entrepreneur to hire somebody with less experience, because they are able to then shape and mold you into how they want to work or how they want you to work in their business. So in actual fact, when you're looking at pitching yourself, you're looking at pitching your characteristics and what you can bring to the table in terms of commitment and reliability and responsibility and interest and care and love. And that's what really sells itself over and above, oh, well, I haven't had any formal experience. So in actual fact, sometimes the less experience you have, the more advantageous it is in a supporter role. And that's what's really crazy unique about this model. So I hope this helps. Helen says she had exactly that experience doing office management. Having someone who is teachable is key. Yes, absolutely. And I have always, whenever I've hired supporters, I've always gone for the less experienced ones. I've always gone for the people who are upcoming, who have not quite done what I need them to do, because then that, first of all, financially, it's better from my perspective to be able to train someone and to do that rather than hire somebody who's really, really super skilled already. Then you've got the aspect of being able to teach them the ways, like it's a bit like a Yoda Jedi thing, like I'm going to teach you my ways type thing. So we joke about this all the time, by the way, me and Megan, but it's like the Yoda Jedi thing is like, that's the kind of thing that you want in this type of environment, whereas you don't need that Yoda Jedi environment when you're hiring clients or the client is hiring you and you're solely responsible for everything. So it kind of works out as an advantage, the less experience you have. Next question from Viv. How do I find the One Sourcing community, FB, LinkedIn? Yes, so I'm sure Megan will post in the group. We have our public virtual assistant communities. So we've got our public Facebook group and we've got our public LinkedIn group. So Megan, if you could post those, that would be awesome at your own leisure. But we also have our One Sourcing group, which is purely for people who have joined the One Sourcing programs, which is the supporter, the entrepreneur, the business program, and the consulting program. So those are our main One Sourcing programs, and we have our own One Sourcing community in that. Another good question. Kat says, do you get paid as PAYE or through a limited company, self-employed? If you are a supporter, you get paid just as any other independent contractor would. So as a supporter, you still have your own business and you are still responsible for your own business. You are simply working and contributing as a team member on somebody else's team rather than necessarily working with a solo client. So you would, from what I teach inside my programs, get paid as an independent contractor, and you're responsible for your own tax, national insurance, and anything else that goes along with it. So consider yourself still an independent business owner, even if you're a supporter. Next one is, do you need to have a contract to offer to an established VA when you're offering your services as a supporter? Sylvia, that's a really good question. In my training, I always suggest that the One Sourcing entrepreneur, or the person hiring, is the person that's supposed to be providing the contract. However, if you do want to have a contract as a supporter, that is absolutely fine. And it's entirely up to the One Sourcing entrepreneur as to whether they sign that. Now, usually I don't have a problem with signing anybody's contracts as long as we've made an agreement between myself and the supporter of what's going on. But generally, the supporters that I hire don't submit me with a contract, but I do have a non-disclosure agreement that I put forward to them, and I wouldn't be adverse to signing. So again, this is kind of like a play it by ear scenario, but generally the One Sourcing entrepreneur or the VA team that's hiring you will have their own contract, and it's more about you deciding whether you're willing to slot in with that contract. And if you are, then you also might be needing to sign an NDA and things like that. But generally, it's the person hiring the supporter that has a contract. But that doesn't mean to say that as a supporter, you can't have a contract. You still can have a contract, and you can still submit your terms and have that VA who's hiring you sort of formally agree to those terms as well. I don't think that there is anything wrong with that, but that's not necessarily how it works normally. So I hope that answers that question. Next question, how do you promote yourself? Assume you don't post your CV. No, Kat, do not post your CV. Honestly, if the one passion killer in any relationship between an entrepreneur and a supporter is a CV. So like whenever anyone sends me a CV through, I just really immediately ignore it, because I'm not looking for people with a CV. I'm looking for people who are interested in my business. I'm looking for people who care about my business. And the best way to promote is using this same technique that I teach people over and over again, that works time and time again. It's like a tried and tested go-to technique that all you do is take an interest in the person that you are looking to pitch yourself to. And that means going to their website, finding something you can support them with, finding a problem, finding something you can help them with, and simply bringing that to light and making them aware of it. And then saying, hey, I can help you with this. So that's basically what you need to do. It's not about you. It's never about you. It's all about the potential client. So that's why a CV is inappropriate, because the CV is all about you. And what you're looking to do is say, hey, I understand you. I understand your business. I understand this is a result that you want to achieve. I understand that what you're doing right now here is not going to achieve that result. Let me help you. Let me do this. Let me suggest this. Let me da 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 da. It's all about the client. It's never about the CV. It's never about you. And like I say, when I'm hiring, I never look at CVs, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for someone who wants to be my employee. I'm looking for someone who wants to contribute to my business. And that's really, really important to determine. So I hope that helped there. Camille, do you need to have a website built if you want to start as a supporter? Actually, no, you do not need to have a website built if you want to start as a supporter, and that's the kind of beauty of being a supporter. What I do suggest you do is, if you go into my training, then you put yourself inside the black book. So you've at least got a profile in there. And also I would suggest that you have at least like a LinkedIn profile as well, that someone could probably go and just look at and find you. The most important thing to me is that I'm able to find something about the individual. So can I find them on LinkedIn? Can I find them on Facebook? That type of thing. So I'm able to just generally see what they're all about. If there is absolutely nothing there, then that kind of raises some red flags for me. But if there is something like a LinkedIn profile or something like that, then that for me is all I need from a supporter. I don't necessarily need to see a website, from my perspective anyway. Okay. Next, Sylvia says, love the idea of working in a team, as I think it's the best place to start, and would love to know where to start. Okay, so working in a team is really all about where do you best slot in and where do you fit. Now, if we're looking at it in terms of one sourcing, the best thing that you can do is to start really looking at your skill sets and then start to label yourself with roles. So what I mean by this is the whole premise of one sourcing is it's a role-based system. We're not selling tasks and we're not selling services. We're selling roles. So think about everything that you do and everything that you do really, really well and everything that you love to do and everything that you can contribute to a team, and then put yourself in a role. So let's say, for example, I'm really awesome at customer support. Then my role would be customer support representative. Let's say I'm really good at social media. Then I might be a social media marketer, or I might be a community manager, social media community manager. Or I might specialize in Facebook. So therefore I might be a Facebook community manager, or I might be a Facebook ads manager, or something like that. But what you want to do is really look at what roles you can slot into, and then start to label yourself with those roles, and then start to tell other VAs through the methods that I was sharing about how to find VAs and who's the VAs for teams and things like that. Start sharing what roles you can fulfill within their business. And that's really what it comes down to. It's a role-based system. The one sources need these team members in these roles. And then it's about you really clearly defining, these are the roles that I can fulfill to meet your needs as my client, and your client essentially is the one sourcer. So that would be the best place to start, is to start defining what are your roles in this industry, well, no matter what they may be. Okay. Laura says, I have Daniel Gleason's VA Foundation course I got as part of the Paradise Pack a year ago. Is there a way I can upgrade to the full online biz skills course? Yeah, if you pay in full, Laura, if you decide to become a one sourcing supporter and you decide to get that program, I will personally gift you with Danielle's full online biz skills course in addition to that. So if you purchase on a one-time single payment to become to join the One Sourcing Supporter program at half price, then I will personally gift you with Danielle's online business skills course. So all you have to do is write into us after you purchase. Let us know, yes, I want Danielle's online business skills course, or I want Gretchen Bruner's course, and then we will basically set you up with that directly with the individuals, so you get full access. And it is my gift. I'm purchasing it on your behalf for you as part of that. Okay. So I hope that answered that. And Laura says, what if I'm in the six-figure program already? If you're in the six-figure program already, you've always got access. You already got access to the One Sourcing Supporter. So you already have this program. So there is nothing for you to do. You already have the program already. You already have the One Sourcing Supporter. So you do not need to buy the One Sourcing Supporter separately. And that's it. Woo! I think we did it. Yes, we did. I always manage to squeeze this in as much as I can because Crowdcast is always on a time limit. So I was able to get through the questions. Does anybody have anything else that they want to ask while we still have this last few minutes left? If you are interested in becoming a One Sourcing supporter, do please sign up, particularly on the one-time payment. Oh, Helen said a question didn't show up. What was your question, Helen? Post it now and I'll answer it for you. Helen's from my sister from another mister, because we just had a retreat together. Let me know what your question was, Helen. I never drink Red Bull, but there was a random can of Red Bull on the desk right now, and I was thinking that would be really handy. So I just decided to drink it. And I don't know who it belongs to, but I'm drinking it. My question, does anyone need to add someone to their team? There is always people that need other people adding to their team. Like, I had a few this month. Like we had Stephanie, like Stephanie's one of the people that is really looking to hire right now. She's got a position open, I think, on her team. Helen is ready to join anyone's team if they have one. So again, this is all about the community. This is all about One Sourcing. It's about showing up to the calls. It's about learning who's doing what and when. It's about showing up to these free webinars as well, because I love doing these free webinars. Yeah, so post in the One Sourcing group if you are looking to be hired, or if you're looking to hire, always post in the One Sourcing group. There's always people in there that could potentially be a good fit or a good match for you. But again, it's about defining your roles. It's about putting yourself in the black book. It's about really getting clear on what you can bring to the table for people. And that is the best way to get hired. Cool. That's awesome, Helen. So do we have any other questions or anything I can help anyone with? Gosh, Red Bull is so sweet. Sylvia says, thank you so much, Michelle. Really appreciate your time and priceless piece of advice. You're very, very welcome. It's always my pleasure. Yvonne says, thank you for a wonderful webinar. Thank you, Yvonne. Sylvia, just thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys showing up to my webinars. It's always lovely to see you here. It's always lovely to deliver some bits and pieces of information, even though it's in such a short period of time. You know, I always think to myself, gosh, I've only got 1 hour to be able to give you guys something that's tangible and actionable, something you can take away. But I hopefully think that I was able to give you that this time around. And if you have any questions about becoming a One Sourcing supporter or joining the program, as always, we're happy to help you in customer support. So you can email support@virtualmissfriday.com. We can answer any of your questions in there. If you've got any questions about the offer, if you've got any questions about getting either Danielle's program or Gretchen's, just let us know. And we're happy to help. But otherwise, I really look forward to welcoming you guys into the One Sourcing supporter, into the One Sourcing fold as well. There are so many exciting things going on right now inside the groups and inside the programs and inside the industry as a whole in general. And I always try to keep my finger on the pulse with these things and hopefully like bring them to the table as quickly as possible so you guys are all aware of them. Particularly in terms of business development in the VA industry. So you get to be a big part of that. Sarah is already a part of the Six Figure program, so you also get the supporter already, so you're part of that. Okay, so she says, should we divide attention on completing supporter coursework in addition to the monthly assignments for Six Figure? No, I mean, I would say focus on the Six Figure program. And then if you want to expand on after you've done everything for the Six Figure program, you can start going into the other programs, but start with freelancer, supporter, entrepreneur, consultant, business program in that order. If you want to do additional training, but otherwise just focus on the Six Figure program. Myrona can't wait to join the call next week. Yay! Can't wait to see you right there. I love the One Sourcing calls, by the way, because they're not like the webinar style environment. They're the Zoom environment, so we're all more together on an equal footing, and it's not just me staring at you guys and not being able to see you, because I like to be able to see your lovely faces. Camille says, I'm still employed full time. Would you recommend doing a separate LinkedIn account for VA work? Probably not. I mean, if you think it's going to cause a problem with your employer and you particularly want to do it for that reason, then I would say do it. But otherwise, if it's not a problem for you right now to have a LinkedIn profile where you can add your freelance VA business on the side, I would say do it. I don't think that there is any problem with that, certainly from this angle or this end of things. It would only be a problem if it was a problem for you with your end of things, being a VA and having that. So yeah, I would say that. Marilyn says, I have Danielle's online biz skills and I'm wondering how your course differs. Do you offer training as well? Yeah, so I do some biz skills training inside my programs, but it's inside the bonus videos and the bonus guides. Danielle is very much focused around, this is why we complement each other so well, because she's very focused around the tutorial side of things, where I'm focused around strategy and planning more and business growth and development. So that's where we complement each other, and that's the difference. The differences between us is that I'm more strategy, growth, business development, planning, that type of thing, whereas she's focused really just on the core skills and learning how to provide services. So those are the two primary differences, although I do have programs inside the supporter that do focus on the core skills of admin, marketing, and creative services. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this call up now because Crowdcast is telling me that it's going to kick me out soon if I don't wrap it up. So again, as always, thank you. There is a replay of this video if you want to go through it again. Don't forget to join the One Sourcing supporter. I absolutely would love to welcome you on board into the One Sourcing community. We're thriving right now, by the way. Like I say, I've had several reports over this last month and last year of people hiring each other inside the community, working together on teams, collaborating with each other, partnering with each other as well. We've even had some JVs going on between the members inside the One Sourcing community. So it's really, really exciting for me to see all that. And I would love to be able to welcome you guys in as part of that as well. So thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Megan. If you have any questions, email support@virtualmissfriday.com. But in the meantime, I wish you a very pleasant evening, a very pleasant rest of the week. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.